go ahead and come down to your mat. Come into child's pose, forehead comes down towards the floor. You're pulling the hips back towards the heels and extending the arms out in front of you. You can begin to rock back and forth, just rolling the forehead across the mat, rocking from one hip to the other, just beginning to massage the hip sockets. And then coming to stillness and just beginning to notice the breath. So expanding through the top of the back as you breathe in, noticing the belly, the chest drop just a bit as you breathe out. On your next inhale, lifting the head, looking up towards the hands and walking them a bit further out. And then as you exhale, just noticing the hips, try to pull them down a little bit closer to the heels. On your next inhale, look up towards the hands, and on your exhale, walk them over towards the left side. And so again, breathing really deeply here, noticing the stretch that you feel through the right side of the body. On your next inhale, you can even try to walk that right hand a bit closer to the left. So you should feel this stretch all the way down through the shoulder, through the obliques, into the hip. On your next inhale, look up towards the hands. And then as you exhale, walk them back towards the center. And rest here again. Bring the forehead to the mat if that's possible, if that's comfortable for you. Maybe begin to rock back and forth from one hip to the other. Notice the difference that you feel from one side of the body to the next. On your next inhale, reach the hands out a little bit further. Take a deep breath here as you exhale. Try to pull the hips back a bit. And then inhale, look up towards the hands, and as you exhale, walk them over to the right. Again, deep breathing here. Notice the stretch you feel on the left side. Your next inhale, maybe trying to walk that left hand a bit closer to the right. Making sure to exhale fully. And then inhaling, looking up towards the hands, and exhaling, walking them back to center. Control the movement. Don't allow the body to slingshot. And from there, maybe separating the knees a bit, coming back into your child's pose, rocking back and forth or staying still, whatever feels good for you here. And just noticing your mental state. So if the mind has wandered to any thoughts, try to bring your awareness to the breath and keep it there. And then coming up into your tabletop, the hands are going to walk right under the shoulders, knees come under the hips, and you have a flat back, so you're pulling the belly button in just slightly. On the inhale, you're going to drop the belly, lift the tailbone and the shoulders, and on the exhale, you're rounding through the back, tail and shoulders drop down. So beginning to move, or continuing to move like a wave with the breath. Inhaling, belly drops. Exhaling, you're pulling the belly button in, doming through the back. Make these movements as small or as large as feels good for you. And on your next exhale, as you dome through the back, pull the hips back towards the heels. And then as you inhale, coming forward, arching through the back. So you're making this beautiful ellipse shape with the body, almost like an oval. Still moving through your cat and cow. Just continuing to flow with the breath. And on your next exhale, pulling the hips back towards the heels and pausing there. Forehead comes back down towards the ground, coming back into child's pose. You can walk the hands back towards the ankles if it feels good. Maybe begin that rock back and forth again. If you prefer to keep the arms extended, feel free to do that. And then on your inhale, walking the hands back out in front of you and coming into lightning bolt pose. So coming hips onto the ankles, sitting on the heels. And then on your inhale, scrunching the shoulders up towards the ears. As you exhale, rolling them forward and down. Continuing to move with the breath, inhaling, squeezing them up towards the shoulders, exhaling, lowering them down. And then begin to move in the opposite direction, so this time rolling them forward and up towards the ears, and then as you exhale, rolling them backwards and down. And getting ready to come to stillness, allowing the hands to drop down and then inhaling and sweeping them up towards the sky. Exhaling, flipping the palms, lowering them back down. Finding the rhythm of your breath here, inhaling, sweeping them up. Exhaling and sweeping them down. Please take your time, you don't have to go at my pace. Inhaling and sweeping up. Exhaling, sweeping down. Continue flowing. And then as you inhale and the hands come to touch at the top, this time you're going to exhale and rotate over towards the right. And then on your inhale, bring the hands back up. And this time as you exhale, rotating to the left. So the right hand comes down towards the left knee. You're twisting back, left hand behind you. Breathing here as we come into our first twist. Inhaling and sweeping the arms back up. And then exhaling and letting the hands part, bringing them back down beside you. Again, inhaling, sweeping them up. And this time as you exhale, bringing them down in front of you, shifting into tabletop, curling the toes under. And then we're going to lift the hips up towards the sky, come into your downward dog. So here you want the fingers to be parallel to one another, the index fingers. And you want to try to rotate the elbow creases out towards the front of the room. Nod the head yes a few times. Try to relax the neck. Maybe walk your heels out, pushing one towards the floor and then the other. Nod the head no. And just get comfortable here in this downward dog. On your next inhale, you can lift up onto the toes. Exhale, push down through the heels. Again, inhaling, coming up onto the toes. Exhaling down, pushing into the heels. And then again, walking the heels out. Inhaling, sweeping, left foot up towards the sky. Stretching it up as high as you can. And then as you exhale, go ahead and shift your weight forward almost into a high plank and bring that knee in towards the elbow. Again, bringing the leg back up into the sky, and then this time exhaling, stepping the foot forward between the hands, uncurling that back toe, coming into a low lunge, so you're sweeping the arms up above the head. The palms are going to be facing one another, your gaze is out in front of you. Breathing here. On your next exhale, sweeping the hands back down towards the floor, and then walking the foot out towards the outside of that left hand. So we're coming into lizard pose. Both hands are on the inside of the ankle. And if you can bend through the elbows at all, lowering the shoulders down towards the ground. Coming a little deeper into lizard. If you get comfortable here, feel free to come down onto the elbows. Don't feel like you have to. If you feel like the back is tweaky at all, be very cautious here. Stay on the palms. And then as you inhale, come up out of the pose slowly, lifting onto the hands, walking that foot back between the palms, lifting the back knee off the ground and stepping back into your downward dog. Again, walking the heels out. And then this time as you inhale, lifting the right leg up towards the sky, stretching nice and tall, taking a deep inhale. And then as you exhale, bringing that knee down and forward in towards the right elbow. Just touch it there. Try not to let the foot touch the floor. Inhale, bring the foot back behind you, stretch it up. And then as you exhale, you're going to step that right foot up between the hands. Drop the left knee, uncurl the toes, and then lift the arms up into your low lunge. Monitor the breathing here. Try to slow it down to a normal pace. If you have any balance issue here, you can always keep the hands on the knee or on the thigh. And remember, this is all about your mental state, so find the breath. Keep your mind focused on the breath. On your exhale, you can lower the arms down, walk the right foot out towards that right hand. So both hands are on the inside of the ankle. You're coming into lizard on this side, so maybe bending through the elbows. Only if that feels comfortable. You can choose to stay on the palms. Whatever you'd like. And breathing nice and deeply here. Keep some integrity through the spine. So here you see me drop my head forward, but you don't want to do that. You want to keep it straight. We want to keep that energy flowing down through the spine. And on your inhale, you're going to lift the arms back up. Come onto the palms, walk the foot in, curl that back toe under, and step up so that now we're in a forward fold. Go ahead and bend and straighten each knee a few times. Let yourself sway back and forth. If the hands don't touch the ground naturally, you can grab onto opposite elbows and just sway. Take a nice deep bend in the knees and try to lower the belly onto the thighs. That'll support the lower back. And then on your next inhale, come up to a flat back. So pulling the belly button in, we're trying to telescope the head away from the hips. Exhale, fold down. Inhale with that bend in the knees, spring yourself all the way up to standing, sweeping the arms up around you. And then lowering the hands down to heart center. Inhaling, sweeping the arms back up. The palms are going to come to touch here. And then as you exhale, you're swan diving the arms in opposite directions, coming down to your forward fold again. Take a deep bend in the knees, bring the palms to the floor, and then step the feet back and flow through. So maybe bending in the elbows, lowering into chaturanga, coming up into up dog, and then pushing back into downward dog. Walking the heels out here. So again, try to drop the head here, let it be relaxed, walk the heels out, and then inhale and sweep the left leg up towards the sky. We're going to be bending through the knee here and then allowing that right heel to fall backwards. So back behind us towards the floor. The left hip stacks on top of the right, and if you feel comfortable flipping your dog, go ahead and allow that left foot to drop all the way down to the floor. Try to reach with the left arm, and then come up out of that flip dog, back into downward dog with the left leg extended. As you exhale, drop that left foot, place it up between the hands. The right toe is still curled under, and you lift the arms up into your high lunge. And so once you're here, see about tilting the hips forward. So maybe bending through that back knee, tilting the hips forward, and then trying to straighten out through the leg. You should feel a nice stretch into the right hip now. Find a focal point out in front of you. Keep the gaze there. And on your next exhale, you can gently lower that right arm down towards the ground. Both arms come down. And then lifting the left arm up towards the sky, coming into a side twist. So a revolving lunge. Breathing deeply here. Anytime we're in a twist, you want to be breathing. On your next exhale, allowing left arm to come down towards the mat, and then stepping the left foot back to meet the right. Lifting that left foot up into the air, bending in the knee, and starting to make circles. So as if you're drawing circles on the floor with that knee. And going in both directions, just massaging the hip socket. Go ahead, place the foot back down on the mat, walk them out, and then inhale and sweep the right leg up. We're going to do the same thing on this side, so bending through the right knee, allowing the right hip to stack on top of the left, and then maybe flipping your dog so the right foot comes all the way down towards the mat. You reach out with the right hand, breathing here. And then as you inhale, getting ready to flip the dog back, right hand comes down to the mat, extend the right leg up above you. Inhale, lift it up a bit higher, and as you exhale, sweep it down and forward, place it between the hands, lift the arms up off the mat, come into your high lunge. Again, bending through the back knee, try to tilt the hips forward. Make sure that they're both pointing towards the front of the room, and then try to straighten the back leg. You'll feel a nice stretch through the front of that left hip. Again, find the focal point and gaze right off, right past it. On your next exhale, lowering the arms down to the mat, and then inhaling and sweeping right arm up towards the sky so the chest is rotated towards that right leg. The gaze can follow either the hand that's on the ground or the hand that's up towards the sky, whatever is more comfortable for you. Breathing deeply here. And on your next exhale, lowering the right arm down towards the mat, stepping back into your downward dog. Feel free to come down into child's pose here if you need a break. Respect your body, what it needs. Shift forward into your high plank, and then chaturanga or flow through in whichever way you want. You can drop the knees, push back to your child's pose, and rest here for a moment. Again, noticing the state of your mind here. Maybe thoughts have floated up. And if they have, just allow those thoughts to leave the mental space. Bring your awareness back to the breath, back to what you're feeling in the body. We're trying to stay focused on one thing the entire practice, so either choose the way that your body is feeling or the breath. Just focus on that anytime you notice that the mind wanders off. Coming back up into lightning bolts, so back up onto the heels and then walking the hands back behind you. Rotate the fingers so that they're pointing towards the knees. And then on your inhale, lift the hips up off the heels. Tilt the head back. And as you exhale, allow the hips to come back down towards the heels. So moving with your breath, inhaling, lifting the hips, exhaling and lowering them down. Go ahead and do this a few more times. And then begin to walk the hands forward. And then come up into your downward dog and rest here for a few more moments. Start to separate the feet. So bringing them about a leg's width apart. So imagine your leg laying there between the feet. You want about that distance. And then start to walk the hands up in front of you so that the hips come in line with the ankles. So the hips will naturally try to pull a little bit further back, but we want to bring them forward. If you feel comfortable doing so, you can walk the hands back between the legs. That'll pull your weight forward. And then walking the hands in so that they come right under the shoulders. Take a little micro bend through the knees, just a very slight bend. And again, tilt the head down, allow it to relax. Maybe walk the hands back between the legs. So the palms are still facing down here. And then walking the hands back under the shoulders, Go ahead and center the right arm, and then inhale and sweep the left arm up towards the sky. Find your gaze either positioned down towards the hand or up towards the other hand. On your next exhale, allow the left arm to sweep down. Find the center line of your body, place the left hand there, and then inhale and sweep the right arm up towards the sky. Breathe in deeply here, making sure to exhale fully. Inhale again, and on your next exhale, lowering that arm back down towards the floor. And then walking the hands forward, repositioning the feet so that they're both pointing towards one direction. The legs are going to have a little micro bend. They're still separated quite a bit, and we're coming into triangle pose. I'm sorry, not triangle pose, pyramid pose. So inhaling, bringing the belly in, and then exhaling and allowing the chest to come a little closer down towards the thigh. So right now we have the left thigh out in front. If you feel comfortable doing so, the hands can come to meet behind the back. Interlacing the fingers, try to keep the palms together and then try to lift them off of the lower back. On your exhale, lowering the hands back down, bringing them down towards the floor, stepping that right foot up to meet the left, and then taking a few bends through the knees. Go ahead, sway back and forth, do whatever feels good, and then step the left foot back behind you. So both feet are parallel to one another as if they're in train tracks. Suck the belly button in, and then as you exhale, try to fold forward. Both legs are pretty straight. There's a micro bend just to keep the joints from locking. And the head is hanging, the chest is hanging, belly is getting closer to that right thigh. Inhale, look up towards the hands, walk them out in front of you so they come under the shoulders, and then walk the left foot forward. Inhale, come up to a flat back, telescope the head away from the hips. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, bring them down to heart center, release them down towards the hips, and then inhale and sweep them back up. On your next exhale, swan dive the arms down. And again, flow through your sun salutation one more time. So inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, release them down. Inhale, sweep them up. They meet at the top, and then you exhale as you swan dive down. Going back into your forward fold. This time, place the hands on the mat, bend in the knees, and step back to your plank. Flow through however you choose to. Drop the knees, push back to your child's pose. Relax here with the arms extended out in front of you. Find your breathing, find your mental state. If you're thinking about anything, return to the breath. Inhale, look up towards the hands. And then as you exhale, bring them forward. The hips are going to come right above the knees. Hands are walking out in front of you. Chest comes down towards the floor. This is puppy pose. You should feel a nice opening through the shoulders. Deep inhale, look up towards the hands, and as you exhale, walk them back towards the body. Come onto the heels, and then bring the legs out in front of you. Go ahead, come into Dandasana. So you have this nice L shape created with the body. Spine is straight, legs are pretty straight. You can have a little micro bend in the knees. Really, you can take as deep of a bend as you need to. And then inhale and sweep the arms up. Exhale, sweep them down. Inhale and sweep them back up. And then as you exhale, try to come forward, keeping the lower back straight. until you can't stay straight anymore, and then you can allow the back to arch. Bring the hands down towards the ankles, the feet, wherever they come to. Again, you can keep the bend in the knees if that helps you. If you have tight hamstrings, this will definitely help. And then give yourself a little massage. So wherever your arms ended up, your hands massage just through the calves, through the knees, through the quads. And do this with love, thinking loving thoughts about yourself. Go ahead and take a little bend in the knees. The soles of the feet are planted. The hands come back behind you. Start to windshield wiper the knees back and forth. Taking a deep inhale, and then as you exhale, dropping both knees to one side. Inhaling, lifting them back up, and then exhaling, dropping them to the other side. Continuing to move like this, flowing with the breath. And then coming back to stillness, go ahead and walk the feet just a bit further out in front of you so you can come to a seated position. And on the inhale, lift the chest up towards the sky, coming into a seated cow. And then exhaling, doming through the back. That's a seated cat. So again, inhaling, lifting the chest to the sky. Exhaling, doming through the back. Dropping the chin to the chest. And then from here, coming back to a neutral position and starting to walk the feet just slightly back until you can lift the toes off the ground, coming into a boat pose. So you still want to maintain that integrity through the spine, creating this perfect V shape with the body. On your exhale, slowly lowering the feet down to the floor, coming back into some seated cat and cow. So inhaling, stretching the chest up towards the sky. Exhaling, doming through the back. Go ahead and walk the heels back towards the bottom. Come down onto the spine. Knees are in towards the chest, and you can take a little rock back and forth, just massaging the sacrum. Bring the arms out into a T. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, drop the knees over to the left side. Nice deep breath in here, and as you breathe out, you can look over towards the right side. Just enjoy this twist. Deepen your breath even a little bit more than you have the entire practice. On your next inhale, lifting the head back up to a neutral position. And then just taking a few breaths here again. Inhaling, lifting the knees back up to center, rocking back and forth just a few times, doing whatever feels good, maybe circling the knees. And then coming to stillness, preparing with a deep inhale, exhaling and allowing both knees to come over to the right side. On your next exhale, your head can face over towards the left side. Deep breathing here, we're massaging the digestive organs. Getting that digestion fired up, ready to work. On your next inhale, lifting the legs back up to center, bringing the head to a neutral position. Hands come onto the kneecaps, and again, just rocking back and forth very slightly here. Go ahead and bring the feet down to the mat. Windshield wiper the knees back and forth. One last time. While you're here, you can do any other movements that you feel necessary before we come into our final pose. And when you feel like you've moved all that you need to move, go ahead and extend the legs out. Let the feet flop out sideways, and then bring the hands to rest, palms up a little wider than the hips. Relax through the shoulders, relax through the face. Make sure everything is relaxed. And then again, begin to find the breath. So feeling the belly rise and the belly fall. Notice thoughts that may arise. And just allow those to pass, witnessing them for all that they are, which is a thought, nothing more, remaining detached from them. Again, feeling the belly rise and fall as you breathe. Beginning to bring some movement back into the fingertips and the toes. Or if you choose to, remaining in your Shavasana for as long as you'd like. So if you remain in Shavasana, I thank you again for joining us. Otherwise, come up to your seat. Inhale and sweep your arms up. Exhale as you bring them down towards your chest. I am so honored to have guided your practice this morning, this afternoon, this evening, whatever it may be. You are the universe, as am I, and with that we have great influence. So as you go out, plant good seeds. Namaste. Thank you again for watching. If you enjoyed, share, subscribe, or like. Thank you.